Okay. Yes, we're back because I'm sitting here with Frank. And Frank, please introduce yourself. You're here to do a course this afternoon, right?
Well, yes, of course, it's a very expensive word. Really, I'll do a session with people
Okay.
on raising the awareness to be a change agent, something like that.
Right. In what? A change agent in what?
Well, when we think about all these great concepts of new economy and uh, philosophies or even economic models, that's great. We're very good at that, but somehow it always starts with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So to bring it back on a micro level, what is it in you that you have the guts and the courage and the awareness that you can make that step forward?
Okay. And let me just have a quick look if the session is going to be streamed live, because I don't think it is. In case, you might want to reveal a little bit how it works, because the viewers won't be able to see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did a process with these students and young professionals, I think a couple of months ago, uh, uh, which I called the journey. I'm a professor at the University for the Arts in Rotterdam, and my subject that I research is called sustainable performance. How can I bring out my best performance again and again for musicians, dancers, circus artists even, but in general life it's the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
because what affects your environment most is your performance every time. The moment of truth when there's no way out. You have to be there in the moment and say who you are and what you want to do. So theories and concepts and all these written reports are okay, but that's all preliminary work. It always depends upon the moment of truth when you really need to act.
Yeah.
And kind of transferred that into other arenas, like the economic arena. And I took them on a journey of a half day. And in that journey, they had touched different dimensions of what it is to be, fully aware and fully in the moment, fully present.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do a short version of that or an aspect of that this afternoon with, I think, 175 people.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do then?
Well, nobody can know because it's got to be secret, of course. If it's not going to leak out in between, no?
No, the
Okay.
viewers are not going to be there,
All right.
and they can,
Well,
silence. Don't mention anything.
I think I'm going to put them in a place, in space, where they go back in time in their youth, their childhood, when they first made that first leap out of that real comfortable home, family, mom sphere into stretching your boundaries, crossing the boundaries, doing something bold. Maybe it was like the first time you walked to school all by yourself, but in all, that was a huge thing for you to do. I want you to go back to that moment and really experience what it is to stretch yourself, to make that leap, and experience that fully physically also, what it is. And then I ask people to come back in this very moment, in this building here, and to think about all these speakers that they've heard this morning, or all the course that they went through over the last months, or all the work that they're involved with, and see on a personal basis what it takes to have that experience when you were young and so open and so vulnerable maybe, and make that leap. And I will ask them to reflect upon themselves what it would be for them personally to make such a leap, what it is. Is it how you want to be or something you want to achieve? All in relationship, to our economic life, society, it's beyond economic life. And I'm going to literally ask them to make that leap and sense what that means. So they make a sort of a physical move to initiate, or it's almost like a small ritual, like, hey, this is a promise to myself and a memory of how it can be and how it is. It's in you that you can make that step. Then we're going to form two huge groups, and we'll start based. I have two musicians coming in that make rhythms, and we'll start to move towards each other on different rhythms. One is the march music, and march music is what the armies like to play because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's like all the production, let's say, factories are all on march music. It's the mechanical motion, in fact.
Yeah.
And the other side is going to do a waltz, which is 1, 2, 3, 1. It's like choice, left and right,
Oh yeah.
and left and right.
Now I do this.
Makes you
and then-
more flexible.
Yeah.
And I'll have these two groups move together, and I'll have drummers and percussionists with them, and see how they can start a dialogue. And then we'll quiet down, and I'll let the drummers, percussionists, actually transcend the 3 chords and 4 chords and actually start making music. What's the third point? And then it's silent. They'll listen to them, and then I'll ask them, okay, now exchange what your leap was all about with the person that's most next to you. So they actually express, their own bold move, and
Yeah.
that's a start. That's what we'll do.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there's a question from the social media team. So, yeah, go ahead, Marlies.
Yeah, we have
chat
a
room
question
here.
coming in from.
1 second, Marlies. There's a chat room here, and the
Okay.
viewers,
Okay.
they can actually talk to us and they
Okay.
can ask questions.
Sure, sure.
So please go ahead.
Yes, the question is from Dirk. How can art in a practical way help to change?
Well, I love the question. Artists, we all have, of course, a sensitivity. But if you're so locked into that 4 chords in that mechanical motion, sometimes it atrophies a little bit your sensitivity. But artists, by nature and by their trade and by their profession, thrive on their sensitivity. They need to really listen deep or see beyond. So they are typically a group of professionals within our society that can provide us with the deep listening that we sometimes lack. We're not incapable of it, but they are better at it.
Yeah.
And we can help them they can help us to hear and see more and further and deeper than we are at this point. In
Yeah.
that sense, art has always helped societies in transition.
Yeah. Any more questions, Marlies? I don't think so. So we were talking about earlier on with Paul Gilding and Klaas van Egmond about how what can people actually do to change the economic model and move towards a more sustainable economy. Do we need rituals like you're going to do today in order for people to actually, make the transition, to start the transition? Because people feel a little bit left-handed. What can I do? It's the question that people ask. What can I do personally? Do they need a transition or a ritual first, you think?
Well, rituals are not a religion. Rituals have always been part of any community.
Yeah.
But some rituals have become a sort of a routine, and so they're empty. But you can make any kind of rituals. On my other profession, I work with Olympic athletes, and you would be surprised how many rituals there are in the sports arena. And at the same time, you have to win or you lose. There's no difference between it. It's about seconds and split seconds. On the other hand, just to get into the right mood or the right intention, rituals or the symbolic language helps. It's not all about that left brain. It's about the connection with others in the world, which is also on a non-verbal level. So rituals help us to become more sensitive to the non-verbal side of life.
Yeah. So you work with sporters
Yes.
and with musicians?
Yes.
And which other worlds do you enter regularly?
Pardon? I didn't
Which other worlds do you enter regularly? Or do you work with?
I'm probably here because people here know me before a platform which I created some years ago, which is called the Embassy of the Earth.
Okay.
And the Embassy of the Earth, I'm a social scientist actually by trade also. And the Embassy of the Earth is a social platform that I'm using to solve complicated issues with the community of owners. Because a lot of the things get delayed because of the slowness of our big institutions. So the Embassy of the Earth creates a social platform where we can bring the separate problem owners, sometimes in conflict, together in a free zone, where they not so much solve the problems, but design the road, the path towards solving the
Okay,
problems.
so what's come out of the platform? Can you give an example?
Well, the Economy Transformers is one example. The Economy Transformers is a group of active Dutch people, 500, 600. And when they wanted to come together and create some more human-centered values for a new economy, and an economy which is reverent of nature, of Earth, they asked me to help design the process by which we could do it. So over the last 2 years, the Economy Transformers have used the Embassy of the Earth as a vehicle to give birth to their ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are quite concrete, right?
Quite concrete, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if there's something else happening on the chat, because I'm actually quite curious what people are going to say. It's the same question from Dirk that I had. Rituals and religion, can it help us to change?
Could you repeat the question?
Rituals and religion, can it help us to change?
Well, yes, in the sense of change without purpose or without spirit is not going to last very long. You can't just rationalize over that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Change is something about changing the essence, getting to the source or the core of things. And religion means religare, which is the Latin for linking back to the source. That's really what it means. So
Right.
you can't stay on the periphery to change anything. There's got to be a moment where you face maybe absolutely yourself or look in the mirror and say, what's really going on, but you have to get to the essence of things.
But not all people are capable of that, right?
Me too. It's difficult, but it helps to talk about it and to find ways to face the reality of things.
Of course, but what if you're born on the streets and you don't have any education? You know, you don't even know that there are rituals, for instance.
Oh, there's a lot of noise. I can hardly hear you.
What if you're born on the streets? I mean, what happens to all these people that are really not capable of doing these things?
If you're born in the street, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you probably have an advantage over us now if you're born in the street.
Right?
In a certain way.
Okay, explain.
Because you're much more with your nose to the grindstone. Life as life is. For us, it's much more of a problem to stay to the reality of life, really, because we're kind of dressed up in all sorts of ideas and expectations of what good life should be. And we're stuck. We're in that march music, that mechanical motion keeps us going. It's about mortgage, it's about cars, it's about career, it's about best university, it's about a lot of these things. I'm no exception. But if you are at a place where there is nothing, it has some positive things too. I'm not saying get poor or live on the street, but I'm saying there's also an advantage. Our great football player always said, elk voordeel heeft zijn nadeel, elk nadeel heeft zijn voordeel. There's something about nothingness. Buddhists can tell you that too. Yeah.
There's something about nothingness.
Yes.
Okay, it's getting a little bit loud here, so let's play some music and get back in a short while. What would you like to hear? What music? Do you have a record you'd like to hear?
Oh, good. I would like to hear some piano music.
Piano music?
Yes.
By maybe the film The Piano? The Piano's on Spotify.
The Piano? I'm gonna check it out. So give me a second again. I'm slow today.
But does that sound okay then, The Piano? Or do you have something else in mind?
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
like that? You've seen the film? You've seen the film, The Piano?
I've not seen the film The Piano. I've seen bits of it. Yeah.
Bits of it.
But yes, I'm open to it.
Okay. Well, let's see if Sam is able to find it. If you press or type The Piano, then I think you should be able to find it, Sam. And Dirk, in the meantime, is saying religion, scary question. Yeah. That's an open question and an open door, maybe, Dirk. Well, thank you very much for coming.
You're most welcome.
And good luck this afternoon. Have fun.
Okay.
Sounds like a very inspirational session you're going to do.
They're going to have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.